Yo guys, what is going on? I just got done watching Jurassic World Rebirth. So 5 years after the events of Jurassic World Dominion, the planet's ecology has proven largely inhospitable to dinosaurs. Those remaining existed in an isolated island on the equator. I just read off the plot synopsis, but yeah, guys, I just got done watching this movie. What did I think of it? Was this the best Jurassic World movie? Yeah, second best. But that doesn't mean a lot because the Dominion and Fallen Kingdom are garbage. Was this one garbage? Kinda. Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's garbage. This is a really bad movie. Guys, this is the type of movie that you go into and you have to turn your brain off. This is the type of movie where you watch it and as the credits are rolling, you're like, all right, yeah. Because you're thinking about those cool set pieces. You're thinking about, oh, yo, the scene where they're going up the cliff. Oh, the scene where in the water. Oh my gosh. But then you think about it for more than 5 seconds. And then you're like, why on earth? And then eventually just frustrates you more and more. And there were a lot of things that I noticed during the movie. But let me give you guys my non-spoiler take before we go into spoilers. I would say this is a 4 out of 10. This is a 4 out of 10. And remember, 5 is average, okay? So this is a below average film. It's not very below average. Like, I'd give Dominion like a 3, Fallen Kingdom like a 2, because those ones are just hot garbage. This one is not as bad as those two, but there are just so many corporate things in this that make no sense. I mean, like the mutated dinosaurs, that whole idea, I love that so much. It is such a cool change of pace. You know, it's a new idea. I like it. And apparently a lot of this film is based off of like the original book, like stuff they couldn't use in that movie, which makes sense given a lot of the sort of randomness to some of these shots and how some of them are kind of copy and paste from other Jurassic Park movies. Like, you know, the infamous one in like the kitchen when, you know, the raptor's coming around doing the, you know, doing that whole thing. We get that, but it's in a gas station here. And it's like, I mean, I would rather watch it. I'd just rather watch the original, you know? More positives. I mean, cinematography, God tier, dude. Oh my word. Like, there's this one part where they're on a cliff and they're like, the camera like pans down. Dude, I'm not terrible with heights, but I'm not good with it either. And dude, I was like, just can't with that, can't with it. And there's other parts where it's dark and they're using a flare for like the main lighting. And shots like that look super good. And that's the shot they use for a lot of like the main posters. And rightfully so. It's done very well. So I really like stuff like that. Scarlett Johansson, Marshala, the nerd guy, I forget his name, the doctor. They were great. I thought acting-wise, they were fine. They definitely didn't put in their best performance. Like Scarlett Johansson, I thought was a little one-note. But their chemistry, I really like their chemistry. You know, Marshala Ali, I think I'm pronouncing that right, hopefully. And Scarlett Johansson, their characters, it's like, oh, they're mercenaries. They've had past together. You know, there's cool stuff like that. They do some really weird exposition dumps where on the boat, like to the island, they sit down and they're like, so this happened to you, right? Yeah, remember that time that someone you knew died? And then she's like, yeah, I do remember that. Remember when someone that you know died? Wasn't that pretty crazy? And he's like, huh? And she was like, huh? It's just like, do we need this exposition? We couldn't have sprinkled this exposition in throughout the film. It had to be, all right, sit on the boat and talk, just read this off. You know, it's just lame. Like, okay. And also, last big positives. So I hated Dominion so much, especially just with how, because at the end of Fallen Kingdom, right, the little stupid DNA lab girl is like, the dinosaurs are just like me, born in a tube. I don't know why I made her Wallace. But then she releases all of them, and then you kind of just have to accept, like, oh, they just kind of roamed Earth. Well, in Dominion, they were like, oh, yeah, they're kind of just around. Anyway, here's a story about bugs. And so it's just a waste. In this one, it's not that much better, but it is better how they explain it, because they're like, oh, yeah, there's dinosaurs everywhere. We see one like blocking traffic and all that. But then the part that kind of bugs me is they have this explanation where it's like, oh, all the dinosaurs kind of just died because the air, they don't like the air, so they kind of just get sick and die. But not on this island. Not on the island. They're good on this specific island near the equator. And it's like, I like that we're doing more with it, with the whole the dinosaurs are everywhere, but at the same time, you're kind of just copping out of it. Like, oh yeah, no, they're everywhere, but they're also they're dying. No, they're dead. No, yeah, they're dead. It's like, all right, so I guess we're just canceling. So the idea at the end of the second one, it's almost as if they saw the end of the second one where they all get released, and they're like, no, there's no ideas with that. There's nothing to do. I have no clue what to do with dinosaurs in the real world. And then they're like, you know, they're like, just ignore it. Just ignore it. I want to do a bug movie. And then with this one, they were like, they're all dying. It's like, were there no ideas? You know, in Dominion, there was like one cool motorcycle chase. I remember that. And then in this one, it's just, well, it's blocking traffic. This one only does it better because it explains a little bit. And yeah, I don't know. It's lame. So yeah, on to the negatives. Well, on to the actual story. Let me just kind of summarize the story, then we can jump into it. So this billionaire CEO goes up to Scarlett Johansson during the dinosaur traffic, and he's like, I hear you good doing things. And she's like, I guess. And he's like, come to the dinosaur island because we need to get something from there. And she's like, no. And he's like, what about $1 million? And she's like, okay. And then they go to this one doctor nerd guy at this one history museum with a bunch of dinosaurs. And the place is shutting down. He's like, oh, since dinosaurs are outside, no one wants to come to the history museum anymore. Which, that's bullshit. Like, bro, gorillas exist, but I still go to the zoo. You know? Like, come on. That's dumb. That's a dumb excuse. I feel like if dinosaurs existed in the real world, people would still want to go to natural history museums just to be like, oh, I want to learn more about these things. What a cool way to see it and not, you know, almost die. But they're like, yeah, come with us to this island because don't you want to see dinosaurs? And I'm thinking like, but he sees dinosaurs every day. There's one outside. But then they're like, no, but you want to see dinosaurs in their natural habitat. And he's like, okay. And then there's this really funny joke where he eats mints, but he eats them really loud. And then, yeah, so these three end up meeting up with Marshall Ali, his character, and he's got a crew. So they all end up going to the island together. And then basically there's this family, and the family is like taking a random boat trip. It's this dad, his two young daughters, and the older daughter has a boyfriend. And the dad's like, hey, boyfriend, could you please take the wheel? I'm really tired. And he's like, nah, dude. I don't want to do that. Fuck you. Yeah, so he does that. So the boyfriend's just a douchebag. And then these dinosaurs come out of nowhere. And then they tip the boat over. And then none of them die. You know, none of them get eaten by the dinosaurs. The dinosaurs they were just messing with them. And then they call for help. And then our main heroes get their mayday call. So then they go off course, they pick them up, and then we get our first cool scene where basically, so we have to get blood of the 3 biggest dinosaurs, one in the sea, one on land, and one in the air. Because it could potentially, we could make cures for heart diseases from it. And I like this premise. I really like the premise. And so we get our first part. Scarlett Johansson is gonna, for the first time, she's gonna show off her epic mercenary skills. And then she almost falls off of the boat. And I just thought that was funny. I'm like, man, the first thing that this cool mercenary character does is mess up. That's kind of weird. But it's like, whatever. It's a nitpick, I guess. No, not really. But then, they get the blood from the water dinosaur. It is a cool scene. The older sister falls off of the boat. And so then the father, the younger daughter, and the boyfriend jump in after her. So they get separated. And then we get our first kill where this dude who doesn't talk much, you'll see a theme here. Guy that didn't talk too much ends up getting eaten. And then they get to the beach and they're like, whoa, oh my gosh, one of my friends are dead. And Scarlett Johansson goes, eh. And then this one girl who didn't talk too much, she's like, oh, let me just go where the camera won't see me real quick. I'm just tying a rope here. Let me go over here. And then, oh, she got eaten. Whoa. She gets eaten. She gets dragged off. And then the third guy who, let's just say he doesn't talk too much. He walks up to where she got eaten, and she has like a bloody rag. So then he wears it like as a scarf. So that's kind of a cool detail I didn't really notice. I'm like, oh, that's, because they're friends. And then they go off and basically we go back to the family, and the boyfriend makes a really stupid joke where he's like, wait a minute, old people, do you think when they buy a mattress, they realize that it's going to be like their deathbed? Because that's kind of how I'm feeling right now looking at this island. I kid you not. That is an exact quote. That is a quote. That is a line that a writer wrote, and it was like, guys, look at this. 1, it's funny. And 2, it's sort of deep. Like, shut up. All right? And then the boyfriend is like, wait, anyone got any weed? Wait a minute, does the little 9-year-old smoke weed? Does she smoke weed? And then there's one guy in the back of the audience go, I can't, dude, I can't. Anyway, the family then finds a little, very toy-like dinosaur that I'm sure will have a lot of toys at Target. And then they're like, we got to follow the pipes because they said that there was a village on this island somewhere. The family ends up running into a sleeping T-Rex. And then, so they get this raft. And then the raft goes on. They open this raft up. And then the T-Rex is like, dinner time. Now, I want you guys to think. I'm going to ask you a question, all right? What do you think is faster? A running T-Rex, i.e., remember the iconic scene, the first movie when the T-Rex is chasing after the car, and they look in the mirror and it's like objects are closer than they appear, and the T-Rex is like running. Imagine that speed, the speed of a Jeep, essentially, versus a 9-year-old. A 9-year-old swimming. Okay, I just keep that in mind, because this movie. Here's the thing: it's very obvious from the get-go. This family is fucking invincible. They don't die. They won't die. They can't die. They have plot armor. So when a little 9-year-old girl is swimming away from a T-Rex, the T-Rex is moving at like 0.5 speed, where he's Imagine this is the little girl. He's like, oh, 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 no, it's the dumbest thing. Like, and then, you know, they do that stupid thing where it's like, oh no, they're neck and neck. Is the little girl gonna make it in time? I sure hope so. And then the little girl, she just made it. Oh, and then the dinosaur chomps down. Oh, but he didn't get her. He didn't get the little girl. Obviously, you know. And I was thinking in the theater, I was like, dude, if they kill the little girl, this is a 10 out of 10, because then you're exceeding my expectations. But no, obviously they don't kill the little girl. You know, I wasn't expecting that. But again, I hate how this family is just useless. I hated all of these elements. Every time the boyfriend opened his stupid mouth, every time they pretended like the daughters were in danger, when they never, ever got close. And then there's this one part where the boyfriend like goes to piss, like the dad's like, hey, I respect you for going to save my daughter. And he's like, yeah, I gotta go piss. And then he goes behind a tree to pee. And then these raptors who are making a lot of noise, he doesn't notice them. And then the raptor's about to jump on him. Oh, it's gonna jump. Oh, another dinosaur. Oh, they're fighting. It's just, and then he's like, that just happened. I can't, man. I can't. And then, yeah, that's pretty much it for the family side of the story. Back to the main people. They come across the land dinosaurs. They're these really long dinosaurs with like 2-mile long tails. And then the nerd guy, he starts crying and it starts playing the na 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 na. And you know what? I will say it's a good scene. I like the design of the dinosaurs. Again, I like the mutated stuff. Actually, note real quick, the T-Rex that was chasing the family, not mutated. You know, I was like, how badass would it have been if they're like, whoa, we got away from the T-Rex. All of a sudden, foosh, foosh, foosh. The T-Rex is flying. But no. That wouldn't be cool. I'd rather the family get away. But yeah, so then they get the blood from the land dinosaurs. It's fine. It's whatever. And then after that, they're like, all right, well, we got to get the blood from the flying dinosaur. So they try to get it from an egg of this massive pterodactyl. They get on top of this cliff, and then it's a cool shot where they're looking down. And I was like, yo. They start climbing down, and there's a lot of tension with it. I like it. Honestly, really not too many issues with this scene at all. I thought this was one of the better ones. They get the blood from the egg, and then the pterodactyl comes in and starts like messing them up. And there's this part where the guy who doesn't talk too much, he's like, pull me up. And then they're pulling him up, and then he's like in the mouth of the pterodactyl. And the CGI isn't the greatest here. I think the budget might have been a little lower for this one, but it's still a cool shot because they actually show his legs all limp as the bird's like bloop, 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 and then like practically swallows him whole. It's cool. And then yeah, that's about it. And then you have, you know, they all get down to the ground floor, and then they all meet up at the village. AKA the secret lab where all of the mutated dinosaurs were experimented on. I forgot to mention at the very beginning of the movie, it shows the lab, and then for some reason they let this guy bring a Snickers bar in, and then he's like, Snickers. And then the wrapper drops to the ground. It's literally like Final Destination. The wrapper goes on a little journey and then goes into an air vent. And then for some reason, it goes to this computer screen. It's like, oh, this door's not working. Unlock all the dinosaurs. Let them all free. Like, what? Could you imagine that? Like, just imagine for a second a prison cell. Prisoner AB, his door's a little jammed. Oh no! And then every cell door flies open. It's not even really a negative, you know. I just thought that was kind of funny. It's like, bro, what a terrible system. But yeah, so I guess final notes before we get to the final part of the plot. So the CEO, which is like, he's very cartoony. He's like a very cartoony, evil 90s bad guy. You know, we must get the money. Sort of like that. And there's this part where he sees like a World War II plane. It's kinda, I didn't recognize the plane, but and then he sees the skeleton holding a Glock, and then he it's just in arm's reach, so he grabs the Glock. And keep in mind, the guy holding the Glock was a skeleton. Takes a while to become a skeleton, but whatever. It's fully loaded, works perfectly, no issues with the gun. And then they get to the main area, and he's like, listen up, everybody. Give me the case full of the blood. You got it, bubs. Then he takes it, handcuffs it to himself, and then these like flying raptors come in and they start attacking. And then he just starts shooting the gun everywhere. He's missing every shot. He bang, 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 bang. He's missing all of them. And then the gun has infinite ammo, by the way. He shoots probably like 8 to 10 times. And then later on, he loses the gun. Scarlett Johansson's character grabs the gun, and she shoots probably another 8 times. It has infinite ammo. There's just, but yeah, it's something you can't think about, you know, whatever. Then the bad guy, the CEO guy, he has the blood, and he's like, I gotta get out of here. So instead of waiting for the helicopter that's supposed to show up in 2 minutes, he decides to drive randomly away from where the helicopter's supposed to land. So I was like, okay, sure. And he starts driving off, and this kind of bugged me because it's like, okay, this lab shut down like 17 years ago or something. Yet the car he's driving is like a Tesla Cybertruck. Bro, 17 years ago would be like, what, like 2005 for this time period? Like, what are you talking about, bro? Why not just use the Jeeps like that would have been at the park during that time? I don't understand. It's just random, but it's like, oh, well, how's he gonna, you know, because the Tesla Cybertruck's making a bunch of noise and a bunch of lights are flashing. How else are we supposed to recognize, or how else are we supposed to, you know, catch the attention of the evil T-Rex in this film, the evil mutated T-Rex? Or it's kind of a T-Rex. It has like 6 appendages, 2 tiny arms, and then like it's kind of like a centaur or whatever. It's a cool design. I really like the design. It's awesome. I like it. It's a shame that dinosaur does not do anything. There's one really cool shot where the helicopter's coming in, but it's like through smoke. And then it's like, oh, the dinosaur already got it. Like he's holding it in his mouth and he's like coming closer to the guy holding the flare, trying to get the attention of the helicopter. Like, the movie's full of really cool moments like that. Like, I really like that scene. But it's just followed up by like asinine, stupid shit. I hate that. Also, kind of a random thing. So there's this small dino that I mentioned earlier that like hangs out with the family. It has no purpose aside from selling toys. Like, I was thinking like, oh, the small dino's mom is going to show up and like fight the mutated T-Rex or whatever it is. But nope. Nope. Nothing happens with the small dinosaur. In fact, the little girl takes him home to like her home, which, keep in mind, the reason dinosaurs have to be on this island is because this is the only area where they can breathe. So once she takes the little dinosaur home, it's dying. Of course, they don't say that, you know, and I'm sure if the dinosaur appears in a future film, it'll be fine. But I'm just saying, you set up this thing where it's like dinosaurs can't exist outside of this island because it's uninhabitable. Yet this little tiny dinosaur, it's fine. Who cares? there's just so many inconsistencies. Like, there's another part where the dad of the family is like, oh, my leg, it hurts so much. I can't walk on it. And then 2 scenes later, he's running, all right? It's been like maybe an hour, and he's like, nah, I can run now. Like, there's literally a scene where he falls down a hill, and it shows his leg like almost cracking. And an hour later, he's like, run! Like, what? What? I don't understand. But yeah, it's whatever. So yeah, at the end of the movie, there's this part where they're trying to get to this boat because the helicopter's no good. And the final mutated T-Rex shows up. They don't have the T-Rex from earlier show up to fight it, which I was like, man, it's kind of a staple. You're just not going to give that to me? All right. But no, it's just the evil mutated T-Rex. He notices the evil CEO flashing his Cybertruck. So then he eats that guy. They get the blood. Marshala Ali's character does this weird thing where he's like, I'm going to sacrifice myself. Or like, that wasn't weird. That's fine. And it's this really cool moment where he's walking through the water and he's like, God, get me. And then the dinosaur's like, yeah. And then, you know, it's an outside point of view. You don't see him get eaten. You just see the flare go out. And it's like, damn, he sacrificed himself. And then you see the dinosaur come out of the jungle. And it's like, oh, shit. But it turns out the dinosaur just became uninterested. The flare just kind of went out. Because the whole time I was thinking, just throw the flare. Because the evil T-Rex is attracted to light. That's the whole reason he had the flare. So it's like, why not just throw it? Like, the flares are fine underwater. Why not just throw it? Right? Like, just do that. I don't understand. But yeah, the dinosaur, he just was no longer interested in him. So he like walks away and kind of goes after the boat as they're, you know, going away. But yeah, then it's too slow. All the dinosaurs are slow in this movie. It's like, so close. But then you see another flare. Turns out he didn't have to sacrifice himself. The dinosaur just wasn't interested, walked away. And then they pick him up, and that's the end of the movie. So, guys, this is the type of movie where it's very half and half. It's just an average movie. There's so many inconsistencies. I hated the family, man. But, like, a lot of the mercenary stuff I was into. Like, the cliff scene, you know, the main land scene, the water scene. Really good shots, really good action. So I enjoyed a lot of those bits and pieces. But just so much of the plot just doesn't make any sense. It just doesn't line up with anything. It just seems like it's a lot of corporate, like, you gotta put this, you gotta put Snickers in. Snickers is going somewhere. There's a part where they're in a gas station when the flying raptors show up, and it's just like Dr. Pepper, M&Ms. It's like, come on, you know, is this necessary? But I get it. It's whatever. So, guys, I'm gonna give this a solid 5 out of 10. It is perfectly average. Do I think this is worth watching? Honestly, wait for it to come out in streaming. I think if you're just chilling at home and it's just sort of in the background, it's fine. But going to theaters for it, there's a couple scenes that are worth it. Like I said, the cliff shot, you know, the land and the water. Those are good theater shots. I just don't think that the story itself is worth going through that trouble for. But anyway, guys, that's about it. If you guys enjoy the review, let me know. Make sure to sub for more movies coming soon. Superman next week. Super pumped for that one. And I shall see you guys on the next episode of Grant Guy. And I guess the next Jurassic Park. See you then.